Hello everyone, this is Mahendra Pal and today we are going to talk about Christopher Marlowe. This is our first lecture on literature and today we shall discuss his life and literary works. So let's get started. Christopher Marlowe. He was born in 1564 and he lived up to 1593. He was second of nine children of a shoemaker, John Marlowe. He was a very brilliant child in his school days as he had mastered Latin during his school days. He is an English playwright, poet, and translator of the Elizabethan era. He used blank words, which was not so common in those days. He was also one of the university wits. You know what? Who were university wits? University wits. They were the learners who were taught in Oxford and Cambridge universities. So they applied new techniques to drama. If we were to talk about his personal life, his biography, we must know that he was a spy who never attended university classes because he was away with state's work. So he was a spy. He was a spy who was appointed by Queen Elizabeth herself. He had lived a kind of confidential life. We must know that there are so many controversies around the life of Christopher Marlowe. There is a controversy. Some people say that Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe they were the same person because in the days when Christopher Marlowe was writing Shakespeare, nobody knew about Shakespeare, and then when things became difficult, when things became worse for Christopher Marlowe, he faked his own death and he started writing as William Shakespeare. I'm not saying this is the truth, but this is also one of the heresies, or, or I would say controversies. There is another controversy which says that Christopher Marlowe was Christopher Marlowe's murder was not just a murder; it was an assassination because and it was done by Ingram Fraser because Queen Elizabeth herself had asked him to do so. He was also another secret government employee, so who used to. I mean, he was his colleague. So, I mean, this doesn't make sense that a colleague kills his own colleague. So let's go ahead. Christopher Marlowe was an important figure in Renaissance period. You know, in those days, the center in the Renaissance period, there was a revival of learning, and and then Christopher Marlowe was also an excellent learner. In those days, the center of universe had shifted from God to human. So, so that is why Marlowe he he showed his genius in building in creating crack characters. I mean, his characters had so many layers. So let's go ahead. Shakespeare remembers him as the dead shepherd in As You Like It. Shakespeare has remembered him as the dead shepherd. Nicole called him the most talented of pre-Shakespeareans, and that is also definitely this is the truth. Swinburne, a boy in years, a man in genius, and a god in ambition. When in the next slides, when we will discuss his themes, we shall define that as well properly. We will explain it to you. Marlowe exalted and varied in subject matter of tragedy. In those days, tragedy it was just a kind of Senecan type of tragedies, and there was a lot of bloodshed. No doubt there is bloodshed in Marlowe's tragedies as well, but he builds characters, and their characters and his characters are different. Senecan motive of revenge he substituted with a more interesting theme of ambition. In Senecan, what was there in Seneca's tragedies? In Senecan tragedies, the main motive was used to be revenge only, but he substitutes it with the theme of ambition. His characters are really ambitious characters, ambitious uh, uh, as ambition for power. In Chamberlain is very ambitious guy, and he wants to win all over the world like Alexander, and he starts believing that he is the god. Ambition for infinite knowledge in the most famous Dr. Faustus, who wants more and more knowledge. He's not fed up with it. And ambition for gold as in the Jew of Malta, was very greedy character. His importance in English drama. So, as we have discussed earlier, that his heroes are all Superman, whose major flaw is always an overweening ambition. You know, you might have heard about hubris. So, that is a flaw in a particular character, and almost in all the characters, there is a flaw. It doesn't matter whether they're good characters or bad characters. And there is an ambition for power as in Tamberlane, ambition for infinite knowledge as in Dr. Faustus, and ambition for gold as in the Jew of Malta. You see, Tamberlane, he wants to win over the world, he even wants to win all over the world, and in that purpose, and in the pursuance of that purpose, while pursuing this purpose, he kills his own child as well. So then there is Dr. Faustus who sells his soul, and ambition for gold, as in the Jew of Malta. There are themes of Christianity, morality, and humanity in his plays. Yes, that is also the case. You know, in Tamberlane and Dr. Faustus and Jew of Malta. This thing is really visible. So there is a list of important plays by Christopher Marlowe, Tamberlane the Great, based on the story of Timur the Tartar, the Jew of Malta, 1589, Edward II, 1591, the tragical history of the life and death of Dr. Faustus, 1592, the tragedy of Dido, Queen of Carthage, which was published in 1593. He left it unfinished and it was completed by someone else. And then there is Hero and Leander, which was published in 1598. He left it unfinished as well. Then there is Massacre at Paris. So thank you for watching. Can you like and subscribe the channel? We shall make more and more videos for you. And this is just the beginning. Thank you very much.